In last week's episode, you talked about how to polish the pen. I want to know more about how to keep the nib shiny too. My Platinum 3776 gold nib seems less golden than before. Ink is always sticking to the nib pattern of the Sailor Pro Gear. How do I keep the nib shiny as new? So when I mentioned polishing, and I've mentioned polishing a bunch of times before, there's a couple of different things you can use to kind of clean your stuff, your pen stuff. One is a microfiber cloth, and I keep a bright green one because I like to be able to find it easily. This has no polishing compound or anything in it, and it can just be used to clean the outside of a pen. I also use it to clean my computer monitor. Works really well for that. But you know, it can work on the outside of a pen. It doesn't necessarily polish any scratches away. It's really just for cleaning off dirt. It doesn't really do much for the nib in terms of what you're talking about here. What I use is a polishing cloth, a jeweler's cloth. And I'm considering, you know, I've talked about and thought about for years of like, you know, I should really carry my own. I just haven't sourced it out. So I'm currently investigating that right now so that I could offer small, you know, jeweler's polishing cloths for you all for cleaning, you know, your fountain pens and nibs and stuff like that. I think I just need to actually go ahead and do it. So I probably shouldn't say that I'm considering doing that because I'm kind of committing myself to it, but maybe I kind of need some external accountability to actually get on it. But anyway, so this is a polishing cloth. I just bought it at a jewelry store. You can get it at most jewelry and department stores. But the way that it works, it's a very soft cloth, and it has actually a polishing compound impregnated into the cloth. So as you are cleaning your whatever it is, you know, jewelry, as you would assume, really any type of metal, or it actually works pretty well on plastic too. It's not like going to take out deep scratches and stuff like that, but if you just got really fine micro scratches and just kind of want to polish it up, or if you have anything with silver trim especially works great, or really any kind of trim, metal trim, which would include your nib. You want to make sure that the nib is not wet, that you don't have ink in the pen, otherwise you're going to get your jewelry cloth all wet. But just a plain nib, and you just take and you just kind of polish it. You know, the thing that you want to be careful of is that you aren't getting little fuzzies all up in your nib. It's going to be kind of hard to not do that. So you're just going to want to be aware of it. So literally you just kind of polish it back and forth. You know, want to be careful not to like bend and twist the nib tines. So, you know, what I recommend is as you're down at the base of the nib, maybe I should zoom in a little bit. Here we go, woo! Zooming in and out a lot today. So as you're polishing kind of the base of the nib, this is assuming you don't want to take it out of the pen. You know, you just kind of go in small motions up and down, and then as you get towards the tip, don't go towards it and jam the tip like that. Just kind of, you know, you don't want to press down really firm, but really just kind of brush it lightly and just kind of go like that. So you're not actually going back and forth when you're towards the tip of the nib. Just kind of, you know, lightly go like that. And you'll have to do it a bunch of times depending on how, you know, dirty it is or whatever, but just do it like that. And I'm getting little fuzzies in here. That's just gonna happen. This is where a brass sheet would really come, I feel like I need to duck down. This is where a brass sheet would really come into play. But yeah, look at that, look how shiny that is. Bling, bling. And that's a new nib too, so you can even take something relatively new. I'm gonna see if I can get something like from scratch and actually polish it up here. Let me see. Oh, that wasn't my new one. That was my, okay, so I got the sea glass. Now see, that's a new one. Let me see my Mont Blanc here. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad, but it's, you know, it's got some goobers on it. A little bit. Let me see if I can actually zoom in and get you something really good here. I need to shave, that's for sure. It's just got a little bit of goobers, and it's pretty shiny. You know, it's not too bad, but I'm gonna see if I can polish it up a little bit for you. Really get it looking nice. You know, in some jeweler's cloths like this one, this one is actually two-sided, so if I want to get more aggressive, I can go towards the other side. Aggressive being a very relative term. None of this is really that aggressive. But it probably doesn't take too much, especially if you're dealing with really shiny metal. Bling. Does that look any different to you? It's shinier, I can tell. But it'll help, especially if you have like really fine scratches on there. It'll just help to polish it up. And honestly, especially if you're dealing with, you know, dark, like flat colors like this, like on these plastics. I'm gonna see if, I don't know if I can get any fine scratches. You can see some fingerprints, but you can see a little bit of scratching right there. I can actually just take the jeweler's cloth, and because it's good for metal and plastic, you can actually just kind of rub it right over any trim rings or anything like this, and I find it to work pretty darn well. So you might have to do it a bunch to really get it to have an impact. But then when I show it, like in the light, does that look noticeably better to you there? So like there, that's where I polish it on. No? Yes? No? It looks shinier to me. It's hard to show it on the video like this, but anyway, a little bit of work, not too bad. So, you know, that's pretty much the process. I don't know if there's other ways to do it. I don't think you need like harsh chemicals and stuff like that. If you got, you know, ink that's kind of sticking to it, a pen flush can help to clean that up. If you don't have a polishing cloth, certainly can help with that. But if you're dealing with like microfine scratches and stuff like that, polishing cloth is going to clean it up really nicely, whether it's a stainless steel nib, rhodium plated, gold. The nice thing is pretty much when you're talking about nibs or any trim or anything like that, it basically is like jewelry. It's precious metal, so you're going to be able to polish it up really nicely with that method.